Imagine you decided to go on a hike with your friends. You dress with proper clothes and shoes. You pack your lunch expecting to just have a good day, if you like hiking, of course. Maybe we don't give much consideration to this on a daily basis, but sometimes we know that things don't always go as planned. But how would you react, if in the middle of this scenario, you found a government secret? In 2013, a group of hikers stumbled across something strange deep in the Vermont wilderness. At first, they thought it was just an old weather station. But what they actually found was a heavily secured underground facility. Steel doors, reinforced walls, satellite dishes. And no one, not even local authorities, could explain who built it, or what it was used for. Until whispers started. It was the CIA. It was a bunker from the Cold War. Part of a secret plan in case of nuclear war. So what's the truth? Let's find out today. This is our weird world, where the strangest stories become reality. If you love these kinds of tales, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and hit the bell. This way you'll be notified whenever new content comes out, and you'll help this channel grow. Now back to the story. It started like any other weekend hike. A group of friends set out to explore the Green Mountains of Vermont, near the area known as the Northeast Kingdom. It's a remote, forested region near the Canadian border, quiet, peaceful, and full of secrets. They followed an old, barely visible trail and stumbled across a strange, rusted structure hidden by overgrown brush. It looked like a small building at first, no bigger than a shed. But it was made of reinforced concrete. The door was heavy steel, padlocked, and covered in decades of grime. Next to it, tall antennas. Strange wiring. On the ground, ventilation pipes leading underground. It clearly wasn't just a shed. It was something out of the ordinary, so they decided to share photos online. Maybe there was someone who would know more about it. When they posted the photos, the internet exploded. People started analyzing the structure. Some said it looked like a Cold War communications hub. Others said it was just an abandoned power station. But a few ex-military users chimed in. They recognized the design. That's a CIA or NSA site, one user claimed. I saw similar structures in Germany during the Cold War, he added. During the Cold War, the US government feared the worst. A nuclear attack. A Soviet invasion. A total breakdown of society. They thought of solutions for every possible worst-case scenario. So they came up with something called the Continuity of Government Plan, a secret strategy to keep the government running even if Washington, D.C. would end up destroyed. This meant building dozens, maybe even hundreds, of hidden bunkers across the US. Some were meant to house top politicians. Others were for communication relays, data storage, and intelligence operations. Vermont, with its remote landscape and low population, was the perfect hiding spot. Documents declassified decades later confirmed that Vermont was home to at least two such installations. One was located near Montpelier, the state capital. The other? Right where the hikers found it. Locals had long shared rumors. Speculation grew like wildfire. Some pointed to North Concord Air Force Station, a long-abandoned radar facility built in the late 1950s during the height of the Cold War. This facility was part of a vast early warning radar system meant to detect Soviet bombers before they could reach American soil. The site was equipped with a radar tower, several military barracks, and most notably, a nuclear-proof bunker buried into the mountain. But others noted that this particular site didn't match any known government blueprint. Not even declassified maps showed it. On paper, the station was decommissioned in the 1960s. Officially, it was just another outdated radar post, phased out as technology improved. But over the years, strange stories began to surface. Rumors of secret operations, underground labs, and heavy government surveillance that didn't quite fit the narrative of an abandoned radar base. Then came the reports of helicopters seen circling the area. Odd radio interference, locals claimed to have heard trucks moving in and out at night and public spaces marked as restricted area. All unofficial. No public military activity recorded. Most people never took it seriously. That is, until the bunker was found. After the photos went viral, amateur researchers began investigating. Some pulled satellite images showing that the structure had been active as recently as the early 2000s. Others traced old government records. One urban explorer even risked sneaking inside the structure. He claimed the following. There were tunnels leading deeper underground. I found fragments of vintage computer hardware from the 1970s and 80s. Wiring in the walls matched old military blueprints. And most disturbing of all, some devices were still powered. No official agency commented. But independent FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, requests confirmed that the site was part of a network known as Echelon. Echelon was a global surveillance network operated by the United States and its allies during the Cold War. This system, developed in secret with help from the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, was capable of intercepting satellite transmissions, phone calls, faxes, and more. While Echelon was officially acknowledged only decades later, it's believed that many of its outposts were disguised as civilian or obsolete military installations. Could East Mountain have been one of them? The equipment found in the photos matched some of the descriptions of known Echelon gear, particularly low-frequency antenna systems, encryption hardware, and long-range communication arrays. Vermont, due to its proximity to both the Canadian border and major transatlantic communication routes, would have been a strategic location for signal interception. So maybe this wasn't just a radar station. Maybe it was a listening post. While the US government has never formally admitted it, multiple whistleblowers have said, yes, it's real. And it's still operational. So what was this bunker really for? Well, so far we have three leading theories. Number 1, a Cold War signal relay post. This is the most supported explanation. These bunkers acted as backup communication points, especially in the event of a nuclear attack. Number 2, a listening post for Echelon. Because of the site's antenna systems and proximity to Canada, it may have been used to intercept cross-border communications. Number 3, a government safe house. This theory is more speculative, but compelling. Some say the facility had enough supplies to support from 5 to 10 people for months. But what's really strange is what happened. After the discovery, the structure was quietly fenced off. Warning signs appeared. Satellite images were blurred on some platforms. Reddit users tried reposting the story, but nearly all attempts were removed. The subreddit where the story first appeared, now inactive. The original images, scrubbed from the internet, except for a few that survived through screen captures or re-uploads on obscure blogs. The users disappeared. A Reddit user who claimed to be one of the original hikers posted a cryptic message before vanishing: "We saw more than we should have. You won't hear from me again." Was it just an internet drama? Or was someone cleaning up the trail? After the Reddit post vanished, users began digging. Some managed to save a few of the images before they were removed. They analyzed coordinates, satellite maps, and even archived military documents. A few patterns emerged. The site's layout did not match standard radar-based blueprints. Some of the equipment dated to the early 1980s, long after the site was supposedly abandoned. Locals reported increased military presence in the early 2000s, unmarked trucks, black helicopters, road closures. Adding to the mystery, several online blogs that referenced the story also disappeared. Cached versions existed briefly but were taken down or replaced with error messages. And then, East Mountain itself became harder to reach. Several roads were gated. No trespassing signs were updated. The area was reclassified as environmentally restricted, though no ecological studies were cited. All this for an abandoned Cold War bunker. More theories exploded online. Some claimed the bunker had been part of a mind control experiment, connected to MKUltra. Others believed it had housed nuclear communication equipment under Project Sanguine, a real classified Navy program exploring communication with submarines through the Earth's crust. What's certain is this: someone went to great lengths to erase information about the site after the Reddit post went viral. Was it a coincidence? Or damage control? Even years later, most of the original posters never resurfaced. Today, the site still stands. Quiet. Forgotten. But not erased. Across the US, hidden bunkers like this still exist, remnants of an era filled with fear and secrets. And while most people walk past them without a second thought, some choose to look closer. If you visit, you'll find cracked concrete, toppled towers, and a silence that feels unnatural. Whether it was a Cold War relic, a forgotten Echelon node, or something darker, we may never know the full truth. Because behind every rusted door, behind every padlocked hatch, lies a story. One that was never meant to be told. Whatever East Mountain once was, it left behind a story too strange to ignore. And maybe, just maybe, it still has more to tell. And now, you know at least one of them. If you made it this far, thanks again for the support. Subscribe to our weird world for more true stories that are too strange to make up. Share this video to let everyone know that our planets still have unsolved mysteries. Until next time.